Today we are going to see capital gain. There are two types of capital gain: short-term capital gain, long-term capital gain. To determine whether it is a short-term capital gain or long-term capital gain, we should know whether it is a short-term capital asset or long-term capital asset. Now we are going to see types of capital asset. There are two types of capital asset: short-term capital asset and long-term capital asset. Here, if the asset held up to 1 year or up to 2 year or up to 3 year, which will be called as a short-term capital asset. If the same asset held for more than 1 year or more than 2 years or more than 3 years, which will be considered as a long-term capital asset. So here, the period of holding is a important point. The period of holding plays a vital role actually. So we want to know. Here, to make it simplify, part it into three. First, the first part will have three things. Number second part will have two things. Number third part will have only one thing, like a decreasing order. Number first part consists of three things I told you, no? The first thing is security, which is other than units listed in RSE, Recognized Stock Exchange of India, or units of UTI or equity oriented mutual fund, zero coupon bond. These are the three things. What are the three things? Security, which is listed in Recognized Stock Exchange, UTI or equity oriented mutual fund units, zero coupon bond. These three things, if it is held up to 1 year, it will be called as a short-term capital asset. It will be held for more than 1 year, then which will be considered as a long-term capital asset. Number second part, which will have already I told you, second part will consist of two things, which is unlisted shares. The shares which are not covered under part first, no, that first part which is not covered, that will come here, which is unlisted shares or immovable property. These two things held up to 2 years, which will be considered as a short-term capital asset. If it is held for more than 2 years, it will be long-term capital asset. Then the last part number 3, it will be any other asset. Any other asset which is not considered in part 1 and part 2, that is up to 3 years, it will be called as a short-term capital asset. If it is held for more than 3 years, then it will be called as a long-term capital asset.